Welcome to our channel. This time, let's prove that Charlie Kirk was not a racist, as many online people have pointed out. We strongly understand where those people who are convinced that he was indeed a racist are coming from.
In this world.
Well,
to
guess
you,
what? You're wrong. So
but
that's
no,
fine.
you're wrong because I think that's right and you think that's
Prove
right.
me. Prove it wrong.
What constitutes a human being? What is the definition of a human being?
The creation of DNA that will never exist again, and a soul goes into that moment. I don't expect you guys.
What's a soul?
A soul?
What's a soul?
What is a soul?
What is a soul?
The eternal, indistinguishable, let's just say, non-visible being of your existence.
I don't believe that. I don't
Well,
believe anything is
I'm sorry
eternal.
you don't believe it.
That does not make yours
Yeah, you
Hold on a second.
is
At
like
some, here's the
over
thing.
mine.
At some point, somebody's truth has to win. Because guess what? Your truth doesn't matter.
But
That's
guess
still
what?
a truth
You've had
claim.
your truth in this country for the past thousands of decades.
Thousands of decades.
Not thousands.
Goodness.
Whatever. That's a little embarrassing. But like your truth has been the narrative of this country forever.
Has
and
it?
you think
Roe
yes,
versus
the
Wade
white
just
straight
got
male truth-
repealed. Abortion was legal in this country for 40 years.
And before the 40 years, what was
And
it?
crime dropped
Thankfully illegal in
40%
most
after it
And
went.
on top of that, do you
Oh,
Oh
not
wait,
think-
hold on. Do you think abortion lowers crime rates?
Crime dropped 40% after abortion became legal.
Why is that the case?
It's called a statistic.
Who has the most abortions in America?
Woman.
Black people. Is that
Black
so? Are you
women.
trying to say the termination of blacks in the womb lower crime? That's a very racist argument.
That is not a
Okay.
You know blacks have 45% of the
I would suggest using African American.
blacks. What?
That's crazy.
Okay.
Sir, that's a leading question.
Huh?
Sir, that's a leading question.
You guys can come up and talk if you want. Yeah, it's 95 degrees out here, man. So, yes, sir. The one argument that I would agree with, and I'm against systemic racism arguments, the one that I would say, you know what, there was something very wrong is when Democrat Lyndon Baines Johnson came in and destroyed the black nuclear family. If there was one part where I could say, you know what, that was unjust and that has to be undone, it's when Lyndon Baines Johnson went in through the Great Society program with the intent to destroy the black nuclear family.
Okay. So in that sense, do you believe the war on drugs also played a part? Or
Not
do you not
really.
believe in
No.
the war on drugs?
Well, look, I mean, I believe we should be very harsh on drugs, but I think I would give some merit to the argument of some government agencies peddling cocaine in the inner cities. There is evidence to show that. I'm not going to debate it. Do I think it has so for example, like there's one number that I'm fascinated with, right? Single motherhood in the black community was about 28% in 1945. Okay? Now it's around 65 to 70%. Why? Are we more racist than we were in 1945?
No.
Okay. So then what happened?
The war on drugs.
Okay,
the
fair
war
enough.
on drugs. The demolishing the nuclear family in a sense.
Right,
And
we
I
agree.
believe due to the history that's happened, racism is still very prevalent in a lot of this a lot of the systems that are in America, correct?
Yeah. So no, of course not. But I was actually caught by your shirt. You know, Malcolm X was super pro-life.
Yes.
I think Malcolm X could teach a lot of the black movement something, because more so than Martin Luther King, because Malcolm X, I'm getting there. Malcolm X, some people don't describe him correctly as being violent, right? That was a very small part of his literature. He was very big on trying to get black America to succeed despite the white liberal.
Yes.
And
Not the white liberal.
He did say white liberal. Oh, you go look up the Malcolm X white liberal quote. And so I think that's interesting. Just think about it. Go look up Malcolm X warned against white liberals owning black America for their own gain.
So, personally, I don't believe you could step in my shoes as a black woman and relate and understand the things. So I feel like it's not fair for you to choose what I get to do with my life because I'm a black woman in a white society.
What does being black have to do with truth?
Because there are different things that we experience,
Like what?
and my truth might not be your truth.
What, you get into college easier than I do?
What?
Affirmative action.
Yes, you get jobs and internships that white kids don't get.
Oh, we're poor white people.
You have entire movements dedicated to your race.
We're so like.
Okay.
Right.
Do you remember the
Those
novel?
movements are to get riots. You're crazy. Okay, salt.
Do you not believe in racism?
Of course racism exists. The Democrat Party is still alive and well.
Do you think people are racist against white people?
All the time. All the time.
That's his definition.
Affirmative
of
action is
racism.
racism against white people. Yes.
Okay.
And Asians as well.
And Asians, that's right.
So I do have a question in that sense. If affirmative action is racism, Why are most colleges predominantly white?
Why are they most predominantly white?
Why are most colleges, public colleges, are predominantly
Yeah,
white?
we're a majority white country. You realize that, right? So colleges are the depiction of the nation.
Okay.
And actually, blacks on campus are disproportionate more than their population in certain areas, in certain campuses, than their population because of affirmative action.
In HBCUs? Is that what
Certain
you're talking
campuses.
About? Are you talking about HBCUs?
So, but let me just ask a more broad philosophical question. Why does skin color matter at all? Why should we care about it?
Because of the society we live in.
Well, hold on.
Because of the
But
society.
no.
You're dismissing anything that has ever happened to someone of color
Let me ask
by
you a
saying
question.
that.
What can you do, or what can I do that you can't do?
Explain
What
how
law?
affirmative action works. Explain how
Affirmative action is lowering of test standards and quota for a
Wrong.
quota.
You're an idiot.
No, it's
I'm gonna
not.
tell you
It's
how
the way
it
it works.
I'm gonna tell you how it works.
Yeah, it's the way it works. I'm not going to entertain fallacies.
No,
Tell me,
you won't
why?
entertain me because I.
Just let him
Why-
talk. We have to hear your fallacies.
It's fine.
Why
It's
does
fine.
skin color matter?
Let him talk. Well, don't
I
call him an idiot.
believe skin
Be
color
respectful.
matters
He's being
because of the
respectful.
society
He's not
we
being
are
respectful.
in.
Do you know how
And
this
I
shit
guess it
works?
goes
It's called
into critical
rights.
race theory.
Removing
Yes, it
rights
is.
Because of the
disrespectful.
society we have
I'll
lived
do it too.
in, race is a factor. If from the beginning of time race wasn't a factor, and there was never anybody who was oppressed because of their race, I feel like it would not play a part in anything that we do. But because literally less.
The vast majority of those people might have known Charlie before his assassination, but those who spread this belief are mostly those who did not know Charlie before. Why am I saying this? Simply because I myself did not know Charlie Kirk, and I had never heard about him before, which surprised me in many ways. One being how this internet is censored to the extent I did not know who Charlie Kirk was. I was very surprised being somebody who is always in the know. I was about to fall for this saying and belief that Charlie Kirk was a racist. Yes, in some of the small clips that I landed on just right after the shooting were all racist-minded for somebody who lacks discernment. I watched 5 videos, and I had already drawn a conclusion that indeed Charlie Kirk was a racist. Guess what? Out of those first 5 clips that I had watched, there was no where he was talking about God or Christ. Then my instinct kicked in, like this. Somebody who was shot in a broad daylight in front of a huge public crowded the way it was. There had to be something special about that guy. I knew right away that he was doing what's right, and that was what pushed me to watch 10 more videos carefully and full length of the first 5 videos. That was when I drew a well-trusted conclusion that Charlie Kirk was not a racist. I almost fell for it. And there is no doubt that there was a team of people pushing this belief, and it broke my heart. To see people who were supposed to know and love God were the one to mock and accuse Charlie Kirk of being a racist, saying that if you want a good from people you have to live a better life, etc., as you all might have seen. Perhaps he was a nationalist, because to be a racist, I think first of all you have to have a portion of hate in your heart, and most of these fellow people agree that Charlie had some love for God and Christ, and we know you cannot claim to love God or Christ to the level he did, and still be a racist. He was a nationalist, in my opinion, who wanted a kind of equality and people to turn back to God, even though I cannot deny that in his mind with the Western civilization remain in dominance, as he said himself, and if this makes him a racist, then what if your civilization was in power? Would you let power slip away from you easily? Or you would push for equality among nations while keeping the power? This is how I see Charlie Kirk was. He wanted the good of people and get back to God under Western dominance. There is no doubt about that, but this doesn't make him as racist, as we are going to prove this shortly.
Proof number 1. Advocated for equality of opportunity. Charlie Kirk consistently emphasized that every individual deserves the chance to succeed based on merit and hard work. He encouraged young people from all backgrounds to pursue education, leadership, and civic engagement. His speeches often stressed that talent, not skin color, should define opportunity. He highlighted stories of diverse Americans achieving greatness through effort and faith. This shows his focus has been on fairness and empowerment, not division. Proof number 2. Supported minority voices in leadership. Charlie Kirk has highlighted the contributions of leaders from various ethnic and racial backgrounds. He often invites minority voices to speak at his events and programs. His platform promotes diverse perspectives in politics, education, and culture. He actively encourages young leaders of all races to participate in civic life. This proves his commitment to inclusion rather than exclusion. Proof number 3. Emphasized unity over division. Charlie regularly speaks against racial division and encourages Americans to work together. He has stressed that faith, values, and shared principles are what bind communities. He calls for Americans to focus on common goals rather than differences. His message often highlights teamwork and collaboration across racial and cultural lines. This demonstrates he prioritizes national unity over racial conflict.
Proof number 4. Encouraged faith-based moral values for all. Charlie Kirk teaches that God's principles apply to everyone, regardless of race or background. He emphasizes that love, compassion, and justice should guide human interaction. His message promotes equality under God's law, not favoritism or prejudice. He frequently reminds audiences that faith transcends skin color. This shows a consistent ethical and moral foundation that opposes racism. Proof number 5. Highlighted success stories from diverse communities. Charlie often shares examples of African Americans, Latinos, and other minorities achieving remarkable success. He celebrates accomplishments based on hard work, faith, and perseverance, not identity politics. By showcasing these stories, he encourages everyone to believe in their potential. His platform inspires people from all backgrounds to pursue their dreams. This reflects his respect for individuals across racial lines. Proof number 6. Stands against discrimination in education. Charlie Kirk consistently argues that all students deserve fair access to education. He opposes policies that divide students based on race rather than merit. His programs focus on empowering young leaders through knowledge and civic engagement. He has spoken at schools and colleges to emphasize fairness and opportunity. This demonstrates his opposition to systemic racial bias.
Proof number 7. Promotes unity through civic engagement. Charlie Kirk encourages people of all races to participate in public service and civic life. He believes diverse representation strengthens communities and democracy. His initiatives focus on mentorship and guidance for young leaders from all backgrounds. By encouraging cross-cultural collaboration, he fosters mutual respect. This proves he values inclusivity rather than exclusion. Proof number 8. Mentors students regardless of background. Through Turning Point USA and other programs, Charlie has mentored thousands of students. He emphasizes leadership, ethics, and faith as the primary criteria, not race. Many minority students credit these programs for boosting confidence and opportunity. His approach shows he evaluates character and talent over ethnicity. This demonstrates consistent fairness and anti-racist principles. Proof number 9. Advocates freedom of speech for everyone. Charlie Kirk defends the right of individuals from all races to speak freely. He opposes censorship or targeting people based on race or identity. His emphasis is on debate, ideas, and civic engagement, not discrimination. By protecting everyone's voice, he encourages equality and inclusion. This reinforces that his focus is on principle, not prejudice. Proof number 10. Supports faith and moral values across communities. Charlie Kirk encourages all communities to live by faith, ethics, and integrity. He has worked with people from diverse cultural and religious backgrounds. His message consistently stresses respect, justice, and compassion for all people. He believes that God's moral guidance applies to everyone equally. This demonstrates that his work is about values, not racial division.
As we have just seen, Charlie Kirk wasn't a man driven by hate, division, or race. He was guided by faith, moral values, and the belief that every person carried divine worth. His message had always shown that true equality didn't come from separating people by color or class, but from seeing one another as children of God. If this message once touched your heart, you probably shared it to remind others that faith once united more than it divided. Many subscribe to hear more truth-filled stories about people who lived by conviction and love. Others commented to share their thoughts on equality through faith, building a community grounded in understanding, not accusation. And in the end, real change began when people chose understanding over judgment and God's truth over worldly division. If this message inspired you, take a moment to like, share, and comment below. I stand for Christ. I am Charlie, to let the world know your faith still burns bright. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more stories that prove God still uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things. Together, let's keep spreading the truth. One heart, one story, one soul at a time.